Most of the legendary weapons in Tyria have strong ties to the lore of important history or figures. Rodgort, however, is a piece that requires more speculation than fact. So hello and welcome to my channel. Here we learn the lore and stories of Tyria, and today we're taking a look at Rodgort, the legendary torch. As always, you can find the full lore and guide on the official Guild Wars 2 wiki. Let's begin. The Dragon in the Flames. Long ago, in a time now forgotten, a person named Kutha awoke to chaos. The sound of panic echoed through the streets. People shouted, buildings burned, smoke climbed into the sky. Flames spread from rooftop to rooftop as fear swept through the settlement. No record tells us where this happened. No record tells us when. The only thing known for certain is what happened next. Drawn by the noise outside, Kutha rushed to a window. There, through the smoke and fire, they saw something impossible. A dragon perched upon a nearby rooftop. Not a drake, not a wyvern, a dragon. The creature looked down toward the burning settlement and spoke a single name. Rodgort. Then it spoke again. Rodgort is my name. That is where the official story ends. Everything else has been lost. Or perhaps it was never recorded at all. The official lore states: when Kutha woke, he was greeted by sounds of panic and flame. He ran to the window just in time to witness a dragon perch on a nearby rooftop. Rodgort, they whispered. Rodgort is my name. Centuries later, only a fragment of that encounter remains. A torch, a legendary weapon, a dragon's head frozen in metal and flame. Rodgort. The weapon burns endlessly. Fire spills from its open mouth, flames trail behind those who carry it. Its appearance is so striking that many wonder whether the torch was crafted in the likeness of the dragon Kutha saw, or whether it was somehow created from the memory of that encounter itself. No surviving record answers that question. When wielded, Rodgort seems almost alive. Its jaws glow with heat, its mouth breathes fire, even the arm holding it becomes engulfed in flame. Where its bearer walks, burning footprints remain behind. It feels less like a crafted weapon and more like a fragment of some ancient creature that refused to be forgotten. A relic from a story whose ending has vanished from history. So what do we actually know about Rodgort? Officially, very little, as you just saw. We know a dragon named Rodgort existed, or at least claimed that name. Rodgort was capable of speech, because he obviously told us his name. Kutha witnessed Rodgort during an event involving fire and panic. And the legendary torch bears Rodgort's name and resembles a dragon's head breathing fire. That's all we know, basically. What we don't know is what kind of dragon Rodgort was, whether Rodgort was still alive in modern times, whether Rodgort was connected to any elder dragon, perhaps, when the encounter occurred, or what became of Kutha, or who Kutha was. Was it a Char? Was he a human? Probably not a Sylvari, since they awoke like 20 years before the base game. So one of those two maybe. Perhaps a Norn. But the Norn would try to fight it. So Kutha is probably a human or a Char. So now we move on to more speculative part of this video. So was Rodgort a champion of Primordus is one theory actually. This is one of the more interesting theories surrounding the weapon. There is no official evidence connecting Rodgort to Primordus, and the ArenaNet has never suggested such a link. Therefore this should be viewed only as speculation, of course. With that said, the theory exists because of several observations. First, Rodgort is strongly associated with fire. The dragon itself appears during a scene filled with flames and destruction. The legendary weapon itself is entirely fire-themed, from its appearance to its effects. Second, throughout Tyria's history, powerful dragon champions often served greater dragons. We know that elder dragons created champions, heralds, lieutenants, and specialized servants. So if Rodgort truly was a dragon and not merely a symbolic figure, some players wonder whether it could have served a larger master. And that naturally leads to Primordus, the elder dragon, most strongly associated with fire and destruction, of course. Yet, there are actually some problems with this theory. The dragon seen by Cutha appears intelligent and self-aware. It introduces itself by name, suggesting individuality. Many of Primordius' known destroyers and servants were not known for this kind of independent personality. Additionally, the story gives no indication that Rodgort was corrupted, enslaved, or acting on behalf of a greater power. The dragon simply appears, speaks, and leaves behind a mystery. For those reasons, a connection to Primordius remains possible in theory, but entirely unsupported by canon. Another theory fits the known facts equally well. Perhaps Rodgort was simply a dragon. Not an elder dragon, not a champion, not a minion, just one of the many dragon species that may have existed throughout Tyria's long history. After all, Tyria contains countless creatures that history barely remembers, and yet again we don't really know when this happened, just that it happened. Entire civilizations have risen and fallen, ancient races have vanished, many mysteries remain unsolved. Perhaps Rodgort was one of those mysteries. A powerful dragon whose brief appearance left such an impression that its image was eventually immortalized as a legendary weapon. If that were true, then the torch is not merely a weapon, it's a memory, a fragment of a forgotten encounter preserved across centuries. How to craft Rodgort. In order to craft Rodgort, the hero must gather these 4 ingredients. Rodgort's flame, which is the precursor weapon, the gift of Rodgort, gift of fortune, and the gift of mastery. And when these 4 are combined in the Mystic Forge, you get Rodgort. The last flame. The story of Kudzu tells us sacrifice. The story of the Flameseeker prophecies tells us of destiny. The story of Rodgort tells us something different. It tells us a mystery. A person named Cutha awoke to a city in flames. A dragon appeared upon a rooftop, it spoke its name, and then history fell silent. No songs describe what happened next. No records reveal where the dragon came from. No scholar can say whether Rodgort died, vanished, or still sleeps somewhere in Tyria. All that remains is a torch, shaped like a dragon's head, eternally breathing fire. A single clue from a forgotten age, a whisper from the past, and a name that still burns brightly through history. Rodgort. This has been the lore and story of Rodgort, the legendary torch. I hope you enjoyed this video. Although this lore is brief and doesn't have any connection to the larger history points in Tyria, it actually does a lot for the world building and the feeling of mystery and smallness. Even regular people in Tyria are mentioned in the lore, and I like that. With that said, thank you for watching this video. Please like and comment something you thought was interesting or something that I missed. Also subscribe to not miss future lore content in this format. Now, take care, and I will see you in the next story. Rodgort.